Okay, let's draw a candle. Yeah, this is a candle, right? So once we have lighted this candle using a matchstick, what is happening here? You will notice that it burns. When it is burning, this is the thread of the candle. This thread has caught fire, and after some time, you will notice that its length will decrease. Okay, the length of the candle and the length of the thread both are decreasing here. Let me draw the diagram. Yeah, notice how the length of the thread has become smaller.
Yeah.
Let's say we kept it burning for 10 minutes. After some time, the length of the candle as well as the length of the thread, both of them have become smaller. Okay, now what happened here? This wax, which is in solid form, it started to convert into vapor state. Okay, so this solid state of the candle, that is the wax, it started converting into the gaseous state, that is vapor state. Okay, so once the state has changed and it gets evaporated into atmosphere, we cannot get it back. So that is the chemical change. Yeah. Another thing is, this thread of the candles is also burning, right? This thread of the candle is also burning, and when you burn the thread of the candle, it produces carbon particles. Carbon particles. That's why if you place your hand over a candle, you will notice, or if you place a paper or any other cardboard over the candle, you will notice that the bottom of that cardboard will become dark. It will become black. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is why, because of the carbon particles. Because these carbon particles, which are from this thread, they get deposited over the cardboard.
When that thread also burns, it'll become chemical change, right?
Exactly, exactly. So
Yeah.
two things can be considered a chemical change here. One, that change of the wax into vapor state, which gets evaporated into atmosphere, and the another one is this carbon particles, which is formed due to burning of this thread. Right. So chemical change we have understood. Now another
Yeah.
question is, what is the physical change here? What is the physical change here which I'm talking about? What is it? Can you answer? Think a little bit. You will notice that sideways this wax starts to melt and deposit. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Yeah. On sideways, it starts to fall sideways, and after some time, it becomes hard also. It becomes also hard. Okay. So here what happened? Here, due to of flame, due to heat of the flame, this wax was getting converted into liquid form and then it settled down. Okay, what was happening? This is the flame. Let's say this is a flame. This is candle. Due to the heat of this flame, the wax is getting converted into what? Liquid wax. Okay. And when it gets converted into liquid state, it starts falling sideways like drop, right?
Yeah.
And after some time, it becomes hard. Okay. So that is the physical change. Physical change. Why? Because only the state of the wax has
Why?
changed.
Because it will just change. We can in chemical change it will melt, but if it hardens also, we can't make it back into where it was, right? And then physical
Exactly.
change, it will melt, but it'll stay there. But still, it has its property.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever a substance retains its property, the property is being retained here. The property is not lost. It is still a wax. Although it melted and then again becomes solid during this process, during this whole process, it is still retained its property and it still is a wax. That's why this is called a physical change. Right, Aswati?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is an interesting phenomena. A classic example, you will find both chemical change and physical change in burning of a wax, in burning of a candle actually. Okay. Okay, what else have you studied in class 5? Okay, you told
Sir,
me
about
about, have you studied about matter?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, what are the properties of matter?
It has mass. It occupies space. Um, it takes up space. It has mass.
Okay, very good. Okay, so out of these options, tell me which of these are matter and which are not.
Okay. Feelings, not matter.
Okay, not matter.
Table is a matter.
Okay, yeah, what about anger?
Not a matter.
Not a matter. Okay, space?
Space, space, space. Which space? Like space in the space of in the earth space, or like space
No,
occupy space like that.
occupies the space like that, not
Okay.
in the context of
Okay.
universe.
Okay. Oh, space. Yeah.
Space here, it
Mass.
becomes a quality. It doesn't have a
Mars.
mass.
It has Mars.
No,
Matter. Sorry, matter.
it has only, it is occupying a area only. It is occupying a space only, but it does not have a mass. It does not have a mass. So space here is a quality. Okay, it is not a physical entity. Okay, not a physical entity. Okay, not a physical entity. So space is something which we attach or provide to some objects. Okay, it is a quality. So this is also not a matter. Okay, because the definition of the matter
Oh.
says anything that occupies space and has
But
mass.
space mean occupy space, right? Oh, okay,
No, here it
space
is a
means that
quality.
word only is like that. But
Yeah, that word.
no, it really is that doesn't mean okay.
Exactly. What about
Moon
moon?
occupy space.
Yeah. Bus?
Bus occupy space.
Yeah. Happiness?
No.
No. Okay, very good, Aswati. Okay, so I see your basics are good. Okay, so we will try to start our first chapter today of class 6, that is food and its sources. That is the first chapter, right? Okay.
Our teacher didn't start that. Oh, wait.
Okay,
Then
your teacher hasn't started this chapter.
wait. Food. Which one
Where
is the
does it
lesson?
come from?
Which lesson did you say?
Food, where does it come from? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the chapter. Food, where does it come from? It's basically the source of the food which we are going to talk about. Okay then. Your teacher hasn't started the chapter.
I think so. She did. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Your session. When did your session started?
Huh?
When did your new session of class 6 started?
Recently,
Recently,
2 weeks I
Recently.
think.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, no issue. We will. This is the first chapter, and we will begin with this. Okay, Swati. So, Aswati, tell me what are the different foods you consume on a daily basis?
Sir, can you repeat?
My question is, what are the different foods which you consume on a daily basis, and why do we even need to consume food?
Fruits and vegetables. Why? Because they're very healthy and give good nutritions for us.
Okay,
And we become very healthy and strong.
okay, okay. And what are the different types of foods you consume on a daily basis?
What type of food is consumes every daily basis?
Oil.
Okay, it could be
It
oil.
has fat also.
Okay, that is the component of the food. Okay, I'm
Okay.
talking about the different types of foods. It could be a bread.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bread,
it could be milk, right?
milk,
Or it could
curd,
be fruits or curds,
vegetables.
vegetables. Okay, so you see, if you see a car, what does it run on? A car, what does it run on? Yes,
Run
Aswati?
on fuel.
Yeah, it needs fuel in the form of either diesel or in the form of petrol. Nowadays, we have got cars running on electricity, right? So you see, any component anything that has got some work to do, whether living or non-living, they need energy to do that. They need fuel to do that. Okay, so the car gets its energy to run from diesel or petrol or from electricity. So in the same manner, we humans who have got n number of works to do on a daily basis, we have to do digestion, excretion, and so many different metabolic activities in our body. We also need fuel, right? So our
Yeah.
fuel is basically it is the food which we
Food.
consume, right? And those foods, as you told, they provide us nutrition, they make us healthy and makes us strong, right? So food is what? Food is a substance eaten by us to do work, to grow, maintain our body, and remain healthy. Yeah.
Yes.
So food fulfills all the definition of being a fuel for our body. So food is like a fuel for our body. Okay. So just as petrol is fuel for a car, in the same way, food is a fuel for our body. Right. So it is very necessary to eat food to stay alive and healthy. Okay. So are is it the humans only that eat food, that consume food, or are there any other animals also in this planet?
Sir, can you repeat?
Is it the human beings only who consume food?
No, sir.
No.
There are plants, animals,
Yeah, there are plants, animals, even those
birds.
animals which we cannot see by our naked eyes. That is the bacteria. They also need food, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you name few microorganisms? Can you name few microorganisms? One or two, just one or two, which we cannot see
Fungus.
from our naked eyes.
Fungus.
Yeah,
Oh,
fungus
yeah.
and
Virus. Germs.
virus, germs.
Germs.
Yeah, very good. These are the microorganisms, and the fact is that they also need food to survive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is not the human beings alone that need food. In fact, all the animals, whether micro animals or major animals, whether those animals which we can see from our naked eyes or whether those animals which we need microscope to see, all of them require food. So microscope is used to view all these microorganisms which you just listed, these fungus, virus, and germs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is very important for all the living creatures on the earth to obtain food to survive. Okay. So the thing is that no living thing can survive without food. So food is very precious and we should not waste food in any way. Okay, Swati?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the different things which we are going to cover in this chapter. Okay. How this food is a fuel for our body. Okay. What are the different varieties of the foods which we eat? Okay. What are the different food items and the ingredients? Like if I told you a cooked rice, what are its ingredients? It is basically containing what?
Water,
Water
hot water.
plus rice.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can call it hot water plus rice. So different foods have got different ingredients in them. So we will discuss that also. Now the most important thing, what is the source of food? Where do we obtain the food from? We obtain food from plants and animals also. Okay.
Yeah. Why?
And we will
Because animals we eat meat and all of those.
yeah, exactly. The animals are basically divided into three parts. One is herbivores
Yeah.
and omnivores,
Carnivorous.
carnivores. Yeah, so these are the different types of plants. And we will also discuss how sun plays a very important role.
Sir,
Yeah,
what did you put in the middle? I didn't understand. Herbivorous, carnivorous, and
this omnivores,
oh, omnivorous means
omnivorous.
both. Both. I know. I know. I know.
Yeah, that consumes both
Herbivorous,
plant
both
plus
and
animals.
animals. And carnivorous eats only animals.
They eat
And
only animals.
herbivorous are plants.
Exactly, herbivores eats. They survive by eating plants only. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and we will also discuss about how sun plays an integral role in the survival of life
Plants.
on Earth. Okay,
Yeah. And
you
plants
know
also.
exactly. You know that plants consume this plants takes up the sunlight to make food by the process of photosynthesis. Yeah, have you heard of photosynthesis?
Yes.
Okay,
They
very good.
need sunlight, water, and
Carbon
oxygen.
dioxide.
Sorry, carbon dioxide.
Yeah, to
Carbon
make
dioxide.
food. Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically that
And
food
they
is
give us
being
fresh oxygen.
exactly. They give us a fresh oxygen also to breathe. So the food prepared by the plant is basically taken up by the herbivores, yeah, and omnivores also. The food prepared by a plant is basically taken up by herbivores and omnivores also. And we humans are omnivores. We eat both plants and animals. Okay, so we
Yeah.
will discuss that in
Sir,
detail that how all life forms is dependent on sun.
carnivores don't eat plants. Why did you underline it?
No, I have taken this
Okay.
omnivores and
Then
herbivores.
before you told carnivores, that's it.
No, carnivores, they only depend on animal flesh.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I thought you told that.
Okay, by mistake, I might have told that. Okay, Swati. So now, what part of the plants which we consume as food? Okay, there are some plants whose roots are eaten.
Fruits.
Yeah,
Seeds.
we eat seeds
Seed.
of some plants also. Yeah, some parts of the plants are fruits which are basically eaten by us.
Yeah,
Okay.
stem like palak and all of those have stems.
Yeah, exactly. That is the leaf. The spinach you are talking about, that is the leafy part.
Yeah, yeah, but for some we eat the stem also, like
Yeah,
green
for some
stuff.
parts, some plants, their edible part is stem. Okay. And sprouts, we will discuss that also. Sprouts are basically the germinated seeds. Yeah, germinated seeds. You might have seen people eating sprouts of
Yeah,
moong. Yeah, moong and chana.
they just have like uh, they have like it's like a nut and some root is coming out of that.
Exactly, exactly. The roots are coming out of like this. Okay, it looks like this.
Yeah,
Okay, and later on we will also talk about the nutritious food which we consume. What are the animal products which we consume? That is the milk. Okay, so from milk, different things are made like the curd, butter, ghee, and cheese. Okay,
yeah.
apart from
And the
milk,
curd is in rich in fungus, good fungus.
so curd is not rich in fungus. Curd is basically rich in, basically they are sour in nature. Okay, they are not rich in fungus. We
Oh,
use
I
a
thought.
bacteria. A bacteria we will discuss on later, that we use a bacteria called lactobacillus. Okay, to make curd. And curd, it is basically citric in nature. Citric. Citric in Hindi, you call it khatta. Yeah. Okay. Now, apart from milk, the other products given by animal are eggs, chicken, mutton, fish, and honey. Okay. Now, the food producers. Here we refer to the green plants, which are the food producers. Okay. And then we have food consumers, that is the animals, that is we animals. Okay. So food consumers are basically the herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Right, Aswati?
Yes, sir.
And all these,
Food consumed.
okay, and all
For,
these consumers, they depend on the plants,
yeah.
right? Okay, why? Because if there is no plant, there will be no herbivore. And if there is no herbivore and no plant, what will the omnivores eat? They will get to eat nothing. So their survival will
And
be in
sir,
danger.
sir,
Yes, Aswati.
and carnivores, carnivores, they eat the prey when, and some animals eat herbivores, are herbivorous, right?
Yeah,
So the herbivore, actually the carnivores hunts the herbivores actually sometimes, right? So then if it's not rich, like it is its food, right? If it should be rich in everything, that's why the carnivores will also be it will be difficult for them too.
exactly, exactly. That's why it is advised to grow more and more plants. Because if let's say there were there was a forest, okay, and in this forest there were herbivores living, let's say deer, okay, and we had omnivores also living here, let's say the humans are omnivorous, even the dogs are omnivorous, and let's say we have a carnivore. Give me an example of carnivore.
Tiger, lions,
Yeah, very good. Okay, now
eagles are
let's,
there.
yeah, now let's say there was a madman who cut all the forest using an axe. He cut down all the forest. Then what will happen? The whole
Then
ecosystem of this forest is going to
herbivorous,
get disturbed.
uh, herbivorous, omnivorous, and carnivorous can't survive.
Yeah, all of them will start dying slowly. All of them will die. All of them will die one day. Okay, because
Yeah.
the survival of herbivores is directly dependent on the plant. The survival of omnivore is dependent on the survival of the herbivore and the forest as well. And since carnivore eats omnivorous and herbivorous both, if there will be no herbivore, no omnivores, then the carnivorous animals will also not survive. Okay, okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, Aswati.
Yes, sir.
Okay, moving on, we will talk a little bit about the variety of the different foods which we consume. Okay, so read the paragraph from here. Okay, yes, Swati, start reading from here.
Yeah. We eat many different kinds of food at different times and on different days. This is called variety in food. Different people eat different types of food according to their habitats, lifestyle, taste, and avail-
Availability.
availability.
Yeah. Okay. So you see, the variety of the food which we consume, okay, it is not entirely decided by the humans or the nature alone. Okay. The variety of the food which we are eating, it depends on two things. One is the availability of the food type available there. Availability of food type. Another thing is the culture and taste of people. Culture and taste of people. So if you happen to visit different parts, different states of India, you will find that people living in Rajasthan, they eat a different type of food. Or people living in Assam eat different type of food. Here in the figure you can see. People living in West Bengal are fond of eating rice, right? You might have heard
Yeah.
that Bengali people they like rice too much. That is their staple diet. Okay. A person living in Punjab, he might be eating lassi on a regular basis, might be consuming lassi or wheat roti, okay, on a regular basis. So the variety of the food depends upon two things. One thing is that what type of food is grown in that region. Okay, like in West Bengal, rice is grown in abundant amount. So those people, the people living in the West Bengal, they consume rice products on a daily basis, right?
Mm.
So similarly, if you happen to visit Tamil Nadu, you will find that coconut trees are there in abundant amount. Coconut trees are in abundant amount in Tamil and Kerala. Okay, so they consume food made up of coconut. Yeah, they consume food made up of coconuts. Okay, so the variety of the food which we consume, it depends upon what type of food is available there and what are the culture and taste of the people living there.
Yeah.
Right, Aswati?
Yes, sir.
I hope there's no confusion in this.
Yeah. It
Okay,
depends upon where they are from, like which place they are in, and the fertileness also of the land.
exactly. So the availability of the type of food there and the taste or culture or lifestyle of the people. Right. Okay. So moving on, if you see that people mainly eat food prepared from wheat. Most of the people, especially in India, they are consuming food mostly made from wheat. That could be either in the form of chapati, that is the roti which we consume, or even if you go to market, the bread which is available there, they are made from wheat.
See.
Yeah, even the noodles which we consume, they are basically made from wheat. Okay. Now, what other types of food which we consume? Pulses, right?
Pulses.
Pulses. They are the dal, right? Moong
Yeah,
dal, chana
vegetables,
dal.
fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We also consume different types of vegetables and fruits also. Okay. Now, there are some other peoples who are fond of eating food made from rice. Okay. Their food has to contain rice. Like it could be a simple boiled rice. It could be biryani, that is meat plus rice. It could be dosa or idli. Okay. So depending upon people's taste,
but
they consume different types of food.
which part some people like to eat with everything with rice?
Yeah. You will nowadays you will find that people nowadays you will find people eating biryani in almost every state of India. Okay. Biryani, people are nowadays very fond of eating biryani. So it is almost found in every state of India. Okay. If you ask specifically, there are few states like the Hyderabad, okay, Hyderabad, Kerala. So people of these states are very fond of eating biryani. Even people of Bihar, people of Uttar Pradesh, they are fond of eating biryani very much. Okay. And if you see dosa, Italy, they are basically the staple foods found in the southern states of India. Okay. But nowadays, we have restaurants have introduced these foods in northern parts of India as well. Okay. And you will see that some people also eat dishes made from eggs, meat, and chicken and fish. Okay. Now there's a term here, dish. What do you understand by dish? Any clue?
Something that we eat.
Okay. Look, if you go to West Bengal, a part of the food that will be served to you will always contain rice in it. That will also contain rice in it. If you happen to visit Punjab, you will find that they will serve you lassi, right? So the part of the food that is always served and that becomes a necessary part of the
Common
served food,
lifestyle.
that is called a dish. No, it is not related
Yeah,
to common lifestyle. Look,
yeah. Common
note
have their
the common food which they consume
yeah.
on a daily basis. The common food. Okay. The common food which is part of their diet on a daily basis. That is called dish. Okay. So if you happen to visit where I was talking about West Bengal. Okay. So their dish is rice. Okay. Out of all the food served to you, one thing common in the food will be rice. They will serve you rice in some form. Okay. Either it could be rice roll, okay, or either it could be plain boiled rice, but they will serve you rice. Okay. Okay. Now, what do you understand by ingredients? What is the ingredient here? So it says that, and any of the foods or substances which are combined to make a particular dish are called ingredients. Yes, Aswati?
Yes, sir. The
Like if
things like they use for to make a dish.
exactly, if I were to serve your rice, its component will be water plus rice, right? If
Yeah.
somewhere to serve biryani, its components are going to be water plus rice plus chicken, right? Okay. So let's talk about food items and their ingredients. Okay. So you see, The various food items or dishes which we eat daily are usually made up of more than one materials or ingredients. Okay, if I'm just serving you up rice, uncooked rice, that is not a dish, that is not a food. Okay, it doesn't have any ingredients. Okay, so if someone serves us plain simple rice, uncooked rice, that doesn't become a dish because it doesn't contain any ingredient, it is not cooked. Okay, so food will always contain two or more than two ingredients, right? Yes, Aswati?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will take some examples and it will become clear. Okay, like to prepare boiled rice, we take raw rice and boil it in the water. So we have added two materials here. What are they? Rice and water.
Rice and water.
Yeah. Now, if you were to prepare chapati or roti, what are the two ingredients used here?
Wheat. We need wheat.
Okay.
Means yeah. And
Wheat in the powder form, wheat in the form of
what?
flour
Yeah. Flour and water.
and water. Okay. So flour, it is the powder obtained by grinding the grain. Okay. Okay. Here I
Yeah.
have
We
got,
need the dough in that contains water. So flour
yeah.
and water.
So
Yeah.
flour plus water, you mixed it and it becomes a dough. Okay, that is used to make chapatis. Now here I have taken table. There are few foods and their ingredients mentioned here. Okay, so notice that there are two foods here which contain only two ingredients. What are they?
Hmm? Boiling rice and water.
Boiled
Then
rice and chapati.
yeah, flour.
Okay.
So
Okay. Now tell me how many ingredients are used in making idli.
idli.
You can take help from the table.
Okay.
Here you can see that,
Four.
yeah, there rice, urad dal, salt and water. Four. See, if I ask what are the ingredients used in making idli, you will say that to make idli, we need four ingredients. That is rice, urad dal,
Dal, salt and water.
salt, and water. So basically, the food items which we consume, they are made up of several ingredients. It could be two or more than two. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was about it. Okay. Now coming on to the major part of the chapter, that is the sources of food. Okay, what are the sources of the food? Where do we obtain the food from? Okay,
Plants and animals.
plants and animals, that is obvious. Those are the major providers of food on the planet Earth. Okay, so all the foods which we eat, they basically come from the plants and animals. So what are the different types of foods which we consume from plants?
Fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and
And coffee
vegetables,
beans. Coffee
coffee
beans.
beans, even there are oils from plants also.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, sunflower oil.
Oh yeah. And the stems.
Yeah, olive oil. We use
The
stem
the
also.
parts of the plant. The parts of the plant.
The different parts of the plant, you can call it like that, parts of plant. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be the root,
It
it
could
could
be
be
the
the
leaf
stem. Very good. It could be the leaf, it could be the fruit. In some
or
cases, it
seed.
could be seed also, and it could be flower also. Okay.
And
Now,
sprouts come,
yeah,
right?
sprouts, that is related to seed. Basically, the germinated seeds are called sprouts.
Hmm.
Germinated seeds, they are called sprouts. Okay. Now, food from animals, they are basically fish, egg, yeah, fish,
Mutton,
egg, cheese. Okay.
cheese. Cheese is it from an animal?
Yeah, cheese is made from using animal fat from milk.
Okay.
Yeah, and the milk also. Okay, so these are the different components which you obtain on a broader scale, on a broader in a broader way. These are
Oh
the
yeah,
different.
because milk comes from cows, right? Like that will give fat. Then.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that was the um, um, little discussion about the different types of food and its sources. Okay, now let's discuss a little bit about how the plants produce food. Okay, you will also get to recall the concept. Have you studied about photosynthesis before?
Photosynthesis.
Yeah, have you studied about it?
Yeah.
Okay, all that is not part of the chapter, but still we will touch a little bit. Okay, now how plants produce their food? How plants make food, and what is the role of the sun here?
What is
Role
the role of the?
role
Okay.
of sun in
Okay.
photosynthesis. Okay, okay. Now let's decode this word photosynthesis.
The process of making
Making food
food.
by
Food.
plants, that is simply called photosynthesis. Okay, but question might you might ask the question that the word photosynthesis in itself, what does it mean? What does it mean in itself? Okay, because what is happening here? What is happening here? The plant. Let's draw a rough diagram. Plant. This is our plant. This is our sun. Okay, sun gives off light. Okay, now suppose if there is no sun, will the plants make food?
No.
The answer is no. So it is very important for the presence of sunlight. It is very important that sunlight is present there so that plants will be able to make food. So photo here, that's why photo here, we named it in a such a way that the process is related to, since the process is related to the presence of sunlight, that's why we call it photosynthesis. And photo here means light.
Yeah, if we need three things for plants to be healthy, they are water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide. If there are if any one of these is not there, they can't make food.
Exactly. Now, during the daytime, when sunlight is there, plants do photosynthesis. Plants do photosynthesis during the day hour. Okay, now what happens? This is a plant, let's say. This is a plant. It takes up the sunlight. Okay, it takes up the water from the soil. The water from the soil is taken up. Okay, it takes up the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And in the presence of all these three components, sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, plants makes glucose and releases oxygen in atmosphere. Okay, let me summarize it again. In the presence of water, that is taken up from the root, and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Where does carbon dioxide is taken up from? The plants take up the carbon dioxide from air. Okay. And in the presence of sunlight, plants make glucose and release oxygen in the atmosphere. It is released in the atmosphere. Okay, Swati, any confusion in this?
Sir, can you repeat the last part again?
Yeah, sure. Look, plants takes up the water from the root. This plant is taking up the water from the roots. Okay, it takes up the carbon dioxide from the air, from the surrounding air. It takes up the carbon dioxide,
Yeah.
and in the presence of sunlight, all this process is happening in the presence of sunlight. During night time, there will be no photosynthesis.
Yeah,
Okay,
why? Because
so
they will
sun,
be sleeping.
yeah, they won't be getting sunlight. Okay, so sunlight is available during daytime only. That's why this process is happening during daytime. So plants take up the water and carbon dioxide during daytime, and they make glucose. That is the food. Okay. And they also release oxygen into the atmosphere. They give oxygen, which we breathe. Okay. So this whole process is nothing but the process of photosynthesis. Okay. Photosynthesis. Okay. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And can you tell me, uh, where does the plant store this glucose into? Where do they store this glucose?
In the leaf.
Yeah, the whole process is taking place in the leaf,
Yeah,
but
the
it is
leaf
later on.
first. Actually, the leaf cooks it like.
Yeah, leaves are
Yeah,
basically the kitchen house.
yeah,
Leaves are
that's
basically the kitchens of the plant. So
and the
leaves,
roots, the stem takes it to the roots and spreads it everywhere
yeah, exactly.
with
and
flowers and
and the
fruits.
place and the location of the storage of this glucose depends upon the plant. Okay, like plants which bear fruit, the glucose will be stored in their fruits. Okay, because we need glucose basically from the plants, right? Glucose is the source of energy. So plants like apple plant, this glucose is later on stored in the fruits. Like if we consider spinach, palak, so in spinach the glucose is stored in the leaves, and there are some plants whose
Okay,
roots are eaten.
so the spinach and all of those store the um
Glucose,
that in their stems glucose.
yeah, spinach stores glucose in their leaves. So depending upon the
The plant.
plant, it is stored in different location. Okay,
Okay.
if we eat a potato, it is a stem, right?
Yeah.
Potato is a stem. So in the case of potato, the glucose is stored in the stem. So we cannot say that since the food is being prepared in the kitchen of the plant, that is leaf, glucose will remain in the leaf only. No, it may vary from plant to plant. In some plants, it may be stored in leaf. In some plant, it may stored be in fruits. In some plant, it may be stored in plant. And there are some plants whose seeds are eaten, right? So in some plants, it can be stored in the seeds. In some, it can be stored in the stem. Right, Aswati?
Yes, sir.
I hope you have no confusion. If you have any
No, sir.
confusion, feel free to ask. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So any confusion with what we have discussed in the chapter so far?
No, sir.
Okay,
So the
very good.
last part, but sir, at the
Yeah, yeah.
last, um, it so photosynthesis is nothing but the things that they need for the thing, and for the photosynthesis to happen, and where they store the glucose. That's it, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. If you were to give a definition, we can say that photosynthesis photosynthesis is a process in which plants use water, water and carbon dioxide in the presence of what? Sunlight
The presence of sunlight.
to make food. Okay, and release oxygen,
That the food is called glucose.
glucose. Okay, this process is called
Photosynthesis.
photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
Synthesis.
Okay, so I need you to learn the definition and learn this diagram. Okay, I will ask you in next class.
What after the simple definition in my words I have to learn, and yeah, in my
Yeah,
words, and I have to know the items that are present in it.
yeah, exactly. And do one more thing. You can actually write the definition and draw the diagram of a plant and this diagram which I have drawn over here in your copy and show me in next class. Okay,
What?
two things you have to do. Write the definition of photosynthesis plus draw a diagram of a plant, and in that you have to show different parts of the plant.
Okay.
Okay, and also draw this diagram.
Okay.
Water
The
plus
definition. So after exactly I can't write. So I will just think.
okay, okay.